draw my attention on that slide when you said that private markets have risk reduction. And you talked a little bit about more transparency in the GPLP framework, and we don't see that. I don't think we see that. And more oversight. We want more oversight. I don't know that we're getting more oversight or more peeks into it. So I'm just wondering, since you're the PhD here, tell me what data you have that supports this risk reduction in private markets.
Well, I'll say it in two ways. One, there's the mathematics behind the simple fact that without having
I can do math.
Right, okay. Without having to mark private securities as often as public securities, you don't have a change in valuation, so that reduces volatility if those securities are in the portfolio. But I think, and this is something that gets overlooked, is that because you're an only investor in the security very often in the private market, you have an insight and a direct access to a lot of information directly from the company that you just would not get by simply being a shareholder in a public entity. And I think it's precisely with large public plans that begin to build out their resources and have staff to really engage with the companies that they're investing, as will come up later, either with managers and through commingled funds, or directly, really have an opportunity to take advantage of the information that is actually out there that is well ahead of what could be offered by simply buying shares in a company, for example.
Yeah, Mr. Meng, how many times are we the only investor?
I don't know the exact number. We are the only investor. In some of the separate manager accounts, so we are the only investor into account, but that account invests in other companies in partnership with other investors. What I would like to say something about the risk reduction, as Mr. Hughes said, that if you look at private markets, the risk reduction comes, in my mind, comes with two sources of it. Exactly as Mr. Hughes just mentioned, that the manager selection in private market is of paramount importance. You have to have access to the top managers. And why we have such a strong belief in the top managers, because we believe in their active management skills to generate with something we call alpha. Alpha means on top of the market beta can give you. So the alpha normally comes with what we call idiosyncratic risk. But if you build a portfolio of different private equity deals, for example, the idiosyncratic risk comes with the additional alpha. They are diversifiable. Means that the more larger portfolio you build, the alpha component by construction is orthogonal or not correlated with the beta components and not correlated with each other. So it means that the fact of portfolio diversification helps you to reduce the idiosyncratic risk that the skillful manager brings to the portfolio without sacrificing the additional return. So that's one aspect of the risk reduction from a private market. And the other aspect, as Mr. Hughes pointed out very elegantly, that in private markets, since it's that private, not traded on an exchange, so they are marked, the reporting less frequently. The valuation is really based on a model valuation, not really a market transaction. And many times the valuation is delayed, so not timely valuation. So when it's not a timely valuation, it provides a timing diversification as well. So the risk reduction from private markets really coming from two folds. One is the alpha components, is diversifiable idiosyncratic risk, and the other one is on beta part, is the valuation, the marking is less frequent and is marked based on a model, appraisal based, not so much so about a market transaction based. So that's the benefit of private market. You see the higher return without the commensurable higher risk, because the higher risk comes with can be diversified away if you build large enough a portfolio.
Thank you for that explanation. I would want to eventually have a conversation with you about valuation in the private markets, and since the managers get paid on that assets under management, it behooves them to have a greater valuation.
So,
and we have ways of checking on that, but we can have that conversation later.
Yeah. For that conversation, I may have to go back to school, get another PhD.
Yeah.